Hi guys, it's Becky at Babes in Hairland. Today we've got a pretty half up knotted pullback. For starters, you are going to need to make a part up on top. Hers is off center. You could certainly make it right down the middle if you prefer. And then you're going to take and from that part down to the left ear and section out that hair in front. I find that if I mist the hair with water a bit to keep the flyaways down, that helps this style be a bit smoother and nicer. Then you're going to divide this hair into two pieces and you will cross that top one over, and that bottom one you're going to pass up and through like you're tying your shoe, that first step of tying your shoe. And then you're going to cinch that tight, and to keep that in place and keep it nice and tight, I'm going to temporarily put a clip on it to hold it in place. And then with these two pieces of hair, you're simply going to be making knots and pulling them fairly tight. You don't want them to be so cinched tight that you can't see the center, that there's a bit of a hole in the middle. But you will be making these, I guess you can call them chunky chains or just half knots. But you will be doing this all the way down until you run out of hair. Again, don't make these too tight, but don't make them really big and loose either. Once you reach the end, just secure it with a clear elastic so that that stays tight. And then I left it in a little loop on the end, and then I removed my clip. And then over on the right side, you're going to repeat the same process, combining that hair just there by the ear into another knot and secure it with a clip temporarily. And then with the ends here, you're going to proceed to make more knots all the way down until you run out of hair. And I did have a bit less hair I was working with on this side since I did a side part, so the knots are a bit smaller. So if you prefer them to be more uniform, make a part down the center of the head. Then secure the end of that one with an elastic. Then you're going to move back here onto the crown, and off that part that went from ear to ear basically, you're going to kind of be sectioning out here hair at the crown. You don't want to take too much. This isn't supposed to be like a total half pony, but just enough that you've got some hair up here that you can eventually anchor those knots to. Once again, misting it with water always helps to cut down on the flyaways. I wanted this to be nice and smooth and clean. Then simply put that into a ponytail with another clear elastic. Once you have that nice and tight, you're going to start working with those knots on the sides. I forgot to take my clip out over here on the right side, so do that carefully because mine got snagged in there a little bit. So at this point, you are going to draw those knots backward so that it covers that part from your ponytail, and you'll need some bobby pins because you're going to secure those knots back here on kind of on top of the ponytail. Try and get those so they're on the bottom side of the knots and into that hair at the crown so you can't see the bobby pins. You don't want those poking through. And then with this left one, you're going to drape that over, and then wherever it touches the ponytail, put your fingers through that knot and pull that ponytail up and through. So it is laying through the center of one of those. It doesn't matter which knot, it's just whatever kind of hovers over the top of it once you've draped it over. And then at this point, you're just going to secure the rest of the knots and those tails of the knots in with bobby pins so that they're hidden. And depending on the length of hair you're working with, you might be able to wrap these a little more, but just hide those bobby pins and arrange to pull on the knots if you need to get them to lay more how you want and spaced out as you like. You can accessorize with some pretty little flowers or something as well to dress this up even more. Her hair was straight in back for the most part, so we decided to take our Numi wand and just make some loose curls down here in back. This is totally optional, but it dresses it up a lot more if the back is curly, I think. So once we were done curling, I went back over here and realized on the left side my wand hadn't been quite hot enough, so I redid a few of those curls. And then to break up kind of the ringlets, we took our wide tooth comb and just combed those out a little bit to break them up and make them just more of a loose wave. So here is a look at the finished product. It's so pretty. Those curls and back really dress it up. She's worn this to church. She could wear it to any special occasion, and really it's not a hard style. The time-consuming part really was just curling the back. So please comment, let us know what you think. Subscribe if you haven't already. We love hearing from you in your comments, and please come over to our blog, babesandhairland.com, for hundreds of other styles and tutorials. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you next time. Thanks, bye-bye.